Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Udu Jagero, and this is Dialogues Jagero. Today we are talking about Boniface Mwangi, and in the studio I have Omondi Chuka, who is going to help me with dissecting whether Boniface Mwangi has the capability of amassing more than 10 votes in 2027. We have Odhiambo Otieno. How are you doing?
Perfect, as usual.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful Thursday. Is life good?
Amazing, as usual.
Yeah. So Boniface Mwangi is one of Kenya's most fearless and controversial figures. Do you agree, gentlemen? A man whose life story reads like a testament of resilience, right? Defiance and unshakable conviction. I remember there is a time that he was the first time that he thrust himself into the political limelight was essentially at Uhuru Park, where Kibaki was giving a speech and he had to throw himself as if he took a run to the days, and he was completely manhandled by the security apparatus. Born in 1983 in Taveta and raised in poverty across Nairobi's low-income neighborhoods, Mwangi's childhood had that of hardship, and it was shaped by lifelong injustice, as he has always said. He rose from hawking on the streets to international recognition as a photojournalist. You remember Boniface Mwangi covered extensively the post-election violence of 2007. Yeah. Okay. In documenting the painful truths, twice awarded CNN's Africa's Photojournalist of the Year. He reached global acclaim, even earning the admiration of Barack Obama. I think Barack Obama at some point visited his studio at Power Talk 54. I don't know if I'm correct, but a very big person came to Power Talk 54, and I think it was Barack Obama. If it wasn't Barack Obama, then...
It could be the American ambassador.
No, American ambassador is a small person.
Really?
Yeah, no. American ambassador visits anybody. But it was the violence of 2007 and 2008 that changed everything. Confronted with unspeakable brutality during the post-election crisis, Mwangi walked away from journalism and reinvented himself as a full-time activist. And we have seen all the things that Mwangi has done across the country. You remember the MPigs where they were walking with the sandukus on the streets painted with blood. From Picha Mtaani, a nationwide photography exhibition for healing, to Power 254, one of the places that even me, I remember very vividly, because as an artist and as a writer, it has really helped me much. And Boniface Mwangi is somebody that has really helped me personally. Boniface Mwangi was the first person that helped me publish my book. He gave me 80,000 Kenya shillings to publish my book, and he incubated me at Power 254. Also, even when I had finished my book and I needed to launch it, he provided space and he provided snacks. So, he's a good man, He pioneered a new model of civic resilience. His shock-driven, protests, mock coffins at parliament, blood-soaked pigs to shame corrupt leaders, and him both admiration and, people that do not like him at all. Today, Mwangi stands at a political crossroad. After a failed but groundbreaking 2017 parliamentary bid, he has declared his candidacy for 2027, seeking to transform the fire of youth-led street protest into electoral power. So, gentlemen, I want to ask you, how do you know Boniface Mwangi? When somebody talks about Boniface Mwangi, what comes to mind, Mr. Odhiambo?
First, Boniface Mwangi, of course, is a journalist like me. We both come from the same field of peddling alphabets to the public. Boniface Mwangi is also, as a photojournalist, one of the best. I also background as a photojournalist. That was actually my first job at Kenya News Agency.
KNA.
Yeah, I work for KNA.
KNA in Nairobi or in
Kisumu.
Or in Kisumu.
Yeah.
Where are they hosted in Kisumu?
They're hosted at what nowadays people call what's this thing? Where we have these services being done. Huduma Center. Us, we call it Prosperity House.
Prosperity House.
Yeah, people from Kisumu call it Kamgoya.
Kamgoya, yes, that's what I know.
You know Kamgoya?
Yes, that's what I know.
Yeah. So Boniface Mwangi, I know him in that sense, but also my heart shook when I saw him do whatever you say when Kibaki was speaking at Uhuru Park, and he started calling out the corruption end of things, because the civil society then took a different turn then. with Boniface Mwangi's what I call confrontational activism rather than lobbying activism.
Yeah.
His was very confrontational and tackling issues on the head, being ruthless.
Yeah.
Because at times, talking in the boardrooms does not result as much. So that's how I can say I know him. But most recently, I sympathize and empathize with his ordeal in Tanganyika. Because that was very evil of Tanzanians, especially the forces of Samia Suluhu Hassan, who, under her patronage, sodomized Boniface Mwangi. That was very, very sad. But also, I remember you telling me about this story before, about how he helped you, which gave me the other side of him as a very kind person, as a gentleman who sits to see people as he was before and also as where they can go. By him assisting you to launch your first book.
Yes.
It is hectic, and people are very mean outside here, especially if they don't see whatever they're getting out of it. People are very transactional. And so in that sense, I find Boniface Mwangi to be a kind human being. Yeah.
Chuka, what do you think of him?
When I think of Boniface Mwangi, courage comes to mind. Because after 1997, let's say going into 2003 election, much of our lobbying and consultation in politics went to civil society and also boardroom meetings and within constitutional ways. Not to say that the way Boniface Mwangi has done it is not constitutional, is unconstitutional. Of course, he has always insisted on doing things the right way, but he is, like both of you have said, very confrontational. He doesn't lay down the stones. He goes for them, and he's been very radical about it. So that puts him apart, because as far as most radical activists in the early 90s went down, Boniface Mwangi crops up. And this is during Kibaki, because people felt that the first term for Kibaki was hopeful.
Yeah.
It was what would have reinvented Kenya. And then 2007 and 8 happened, and something changed. The trajectory of our country changed. And we were wondering, do we go back to the street confrontation of early 90s or 80s or late 80s? Or do we pursue a constitution? Because that time also we were pursuing the 2010 constitution, yes.
True.
So when that happens for me, I see him as a very courageous person. I see him as a very radical person, sometimes to a fault, because then again, when you keep on insisting on confrontational politics, sometimes you miss the perks of lobbying and other mechanisms of resolving conflict or pushing the country to forward. And that comes to the mind when now we're talking about the presidency that he has thrown himself into as a bidder, because I think he's sort of come down back to 2017 Starehe constituency elections, which he lost. And which now gives him a bit of a shake-up. When you shake up and you winnow seeds, you want to see the kind of seed, the eye you see, the one you can take to the farm, the one you can take to the posho. I feel like he had that moment. And that moment has clarified that he doesn't always need to go to the streets. And I'm also wondering, because he was at the center of the Gen Z politics in 2024, much of which I think even the government even accused him of being one of his leaders. So I'm wondering, is he able to capitalize on that, or is he actually using that as well as a political capital? And what would that look like in the future? So generally, he's a very awesome human being. He has his flaws, just like any other activist and civil space persona. Most of those people have been accused of very many things: donor funding, having some stream of income from elsewhere, somebody behind them, a shadow that we do not know. All of those cannot be verified, and I think we are here to just turn things around and see what kind of a president or what kind of a leader he has been and can be if given a chance.
You've rightly said that in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, May 2025 this year, where he and Ugandan activist Agatha were abducted by men believed to be the security agents of Suluhu. And they endured brutal torture. Mwangi was beaten, sexually assaulted, and forced to thank the Tanzanian president. He returned with broken bones, severe psychological trauma. Mwangi and Atuhire have since filed a case at the East African Court of Justice, accusing Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, and Uganda of human rights violation. Something very interesting is that Boniface Mwangi actually he claims that he used 67,000 USD basically...
It was about 7-8 million.
Yeah, 7-8 million from the people of Kenya who contributed to his kitty, and that is chronicled very by Sam Soko in the documentary called Softy.
Okay.
So if but as what would Boni look like as a president? Because a lot of people who are very close to Boni claim that Boni is not a very good leader. He's very rash, he's very emotional, and it is either his way or the highway most of the time. I do not know whether that is true, but I've heard a lot of that, people saying the same thing. But I think perhaps the way we are going to go with this thing is I think we start from the fact, the idea of coming from the streets and coming from the NGO community and translating, because he has also been working very closely with the former Chief Justice.
Yes.
You know him? What is his name? I forget.
Willie Mutunga.
Willie Mutunga. He has been working very closely with Willie Mutunga. And also something that I've never understood is why Boni decided not to run in 2022.
Yeah, very interesting, by the way.
You know? And he was in the camp of Raila Odinga. And he later said that he came out guns blazing after Raila and Martha Karua lost, and said that there were so many problematic things during the elections and that Raila and Martha Karua were not listening. So I don't know why do you think Boni did not run for 2022? And tied to that question, I want to ask you, is he really serious about taking over the country?
So I'll look at it from two perspectives, because I've wanted to discuss this before. Especially on determining the presidential standard or the presidential candidate standard. And one, Boniface Mwangi did not contest in 2022 because we were with him in the same camp. Remember, by then I was working for the Azimio Secretariat as well.
Yes.
And Boniface Mwangi was in the camp of Martha Karua, who was then nominated as the deputy president nominee for Raila Odinga. And Martha Karua and Boniface Mwangi come a long way as well. They are one from the same tribe. Let us never forget that. As much as it's a topic that people don't want to talk about, but that's the reality.
Yes.
Familiarity and identity is quite something. They come from the same tribe, and also they're from almost the same spirit. Because remember, as much as Martha Karua served even as an MP during Moi's time, but she was an activist even within the regime then. And so they have the same making or the same blueprint, which is that of activism. Martha Karua, Boniface Mwangi, and CJ Willie Mutunga. Now, CJ Willie Mutunga and Boniface Mwangi then go a notch higher into what now people are calling commercial activism. It's not really commercial activism for those of us who are constructive, but for those
perceived as such.
For those of us who are keen on research, we understand it's not commercial activism. It is well-coordinated activism, because for activism to occur, you must have a very strong resource basket for you to even mobilize, for you to talk on real issues and not just talk on surface level issues. And so Boniface Mwangi in 2022 had to think to support Martha Karua instead of going the whole hog himself. But also even then, if he would have run, then there are questions, just the same way as 2027 is coming to play, you'll find that there are questions. And I've developed 9 keys that will then determine who becomes a president if they score at least half of these keys and tilt one of the remaining 4 or the remaining 5. Yeah.
Okay, Ochuka, what do you think? Is he serious? Does he want to become president of Kenya, or he just wants to get 67,000 USD again?
Boniface Mwangi knows that. I think he knows. Sometimes you live so much in a bubble, driven by 3 things. Aspiration, which everybody has. Every human being has an aspiration. Which is very centered on ego and self-actualization. 2 is he's very patriotic. I don't imagine that whether or not we accuse him of commercializing activism or not, I think that he's a very patriotic Kenyan. And therefore he desires to have a different country. He desires a country that works, a system that is in place. And then 3, I feel like he went ahead because when I was writing an article that I shared with you, I was arguing that Kenyans have always lamented that our politics and across major African countries is always 2-horse race. This is a Trojan race Whether one is a virus, the other is a bacteria. And sometimes two viruses altogether.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very interesting space where many people end up not voting or apathetic voters. They vote out of, let me watch a vote. They might not even have a candidate by the time they're stepping in front of a ballot box. That's when they decide, it's going to be Raila Odinga or it's going to be William Ruto. After all, these people are political cousins. So that places him at a place of reflection, and he says, you guys have always been saying that it's always a two-horse race, and these people are the same. I bring in a fresh blood, things that need to work. These people don't talk the way I talk to you. I talk to you with the NGO world model, where we are talking about public service delivery. I've always said that our politics has done very poorly in terms of public service delivery. When you look at Scandinavian models, most of those politicians are people who live within the community. They do not need to be isolated or immunized from the rest of the population. They move towards being a public, just like when I go to teach at the university, you go there as just part of them. You mingle with the students. You are part of that community. As opposed to in African countries, you find that many people are very much removed from the realities, in so much that one of the reasons why people vie for politics is so that they can carve themselves out of that community. They can run away from those realities. They can create a set of very unique niche communities that has certain privileges that the common Mwananchi does not have. So Boniface Mwangi comes and says, we need that to stop. Let's start talking about issues. And I've been very critical in terms of looking at some of the key issues in his manifesto. He has not launched his official manifesto yet, but I was looking at 5 things. Top, and these 5 things are heavily borrowed from his activism background. 1 is anti-corruption. 2 is water, resource, and accessibility. 3 is healthcare. 4 is education. And then number 5 is systems that are working and are efficient. I think it touched on maybe media tech and technological infrastructure. It is funny that he has not touched about fiscal policy and the debt crisis that we have. That any president, no matter how saintly you are, will automatically face. He has not talked about how, when you are an activist, you believe that you can actually set a formula that will win the masses of the people without coalition. Coalitions are increasingly important, so much that even the UK cannot survive politically. Germany recently had a political quagmire, and they could not survive it because they couldn't agree on who's going to be the next PM or the next president. In America, it is happening, although they have a mechanism that sort of creates a cushion against that sort of a stalemate. So when you are an activist, you almost always believe that you are very saintly, and you can push yourself through the political equation and win the seat, and then be the president that people have always wished for, without regarding the neurosis of our political economy. Neurosis means sicknesses. We all have sicknesses. Now, these sicknesses usually come in terms of corruption. Every person in this country is corrupt in one way or another, or has been a part of it. So for us to change that, there needs to be some deliberate action. Sometimes you need to actually even befriend the devil. And that's a very nasty thing to say on a political commentary, because people will say, no, that's not what we want. Yeah. And that's one of the issues I have with the Gen Z politicking, because they don't usually see that even themselves are part of this particular neurosis that we are actually talking about. So I'm curious to find out, how will he manage political coalitions? If he gets it, how will he manage post-winning? Because post-winning, that's where the real sickness comes in.
Exactly.
That's when you meet the things that your blind spot as an activist. As an activist, sometimes you have a tunnel vision, so that you don't see the thorns that are around you, the thorns that will be so inevitable. He's always criticized that, austerity measures, IMF should go home, World Bank should go home. World Bank runs is the exchequer of geopolitics. How do they go? Which home do they go to? So at some point, you have to really be honest in terms of what conversations do you need to have, and what compromises do you need to make towards the bigger picture of a better Kenya. That is what the kind of candidacy I want Boni to be, and I'm interested to find out if he can actually meet that.
You said that his manifesto is not out.
It's not out yet, officially.
It's not out. But what is this on his website? Economic growth, healthcare for all, education education excellence, community development, digital innovation, and transparent
What's the difference between that and better for Kenya Kwanza?
On that front, let me come in and say this. Okay. Both of you are making a grand mistake, and that's what I always accuse you of. What I call political naivety. Kenyan elections are never won on manifestos. They will never be won on manifestos, even in 2 million years. Kenyan elections
but that's different. I'm just saying, okay, that might be true.
It is true, not might.
But you see, it is true. Yeah, let's agree that it's true. Yeah. But I'm just saying that at least for people, there is a category of Kenyans who read manifestos,
right,
and interrogate. So there are people that have been said that these are Instagram voters, these are X voters. These are Facebook voters. Yes. People that rant on all the social medias, but do not wake up in the morning at 5 to go and actually cast.
And that is exactly the people I'm talking about.
Yes, but then
that they don't influence the numbers.
Yes, but then they have a number, even though the number is small and is not able to tilt anything. And these people, before they vote for you, they will have to look at what you have written.
Being that these people are not a critical mass, then they're not they're not a determinant in politics, especially presidential.
Raila lost by 200,000 votes.
Raila lost.
So if you claim that 600 people are this kind of people,
Raila lost by,
then they can influence an election.
Raila lost by 200,000 votes because his governors in Nyanza ate the mobilization money that was sent to them by Uhuru Kenyatta.
You are missing the point.
No, I'm not missing the point. I'm taking you to the reality of politics. That Raila lost by 200,000 because number one, he mishandled nominations in Nyanza. Number two, that mishandling of nomination brought about voter apathy.
Okay.
In response of trying to correct this issue, Uhuru Kenyatta released money, mobilization money, on the day of the election so that people could be mobilized. These governors ate this money.
Now, let me weigh in also. I think
so that's why Raila lost. He didn't lose because of an abstract idea.
Yeah. I think that it's also incorrect of you to say that we're politically naive. No,
of course you are.
I think
when you're saying, let me just land it.
You're running on your steam. Let me finish.
You're finishing. Yeah. Because when Jagero says that manifestos influence elections, and I'm telling him they don't. Kenyan elections have never been won on manifestos. Kenyan elections have been won on narratives. That is the fact.
So what is a narrative?
So then what he's saying is that Boni doesn't need a manifesto.
Exactly.
Boni, I have a different. You guys, gentlemen, you did not allow me to finish.
Okay, finish.
Now, a manifesto might not mean so much in our political ecosystem.
Yeah.
But then again, narratives are also driven or actually derived from a manifesto. How do you spin a narrative? How do you create a narrative? Because you have to come up with at least a blueprint document in terms of what you want to do. You are supposed to be spinning from something. If it is education we're talking about, how do you spin in terms of a narrative? How do you spin it? For example, we have Ruto as an incumbent, somebody who's supposed to be contested out of office. Yeah? And he has, let's say he has done poorly in terms of healthcare or education. Boni says, I have these critical issues that Ruto has not done so well. Now, that's where narrative comes in. Now, you missed the point when you say I'm politically naive, because when I was finishing, I was saying that one of Boniface Mwangi's biggest mistake is thinking that he can actually replicate the NGO model into real politics. That's not naivety, because I know the kind of politics we're dealing with, and I know the equations that are actually involved.
So let's go. So let's go to the equations.
Yes.
And in these equations, I want to call them keys.
Yes.
The keys that then determine the success of a presidential candidate. And so Jagero, there are 9 keys.
Yes.
And of these 9 keys, we are looking at the winning presidential candidate having at least 4 of them in his back pocket, and tilting at least 1 or 2 of the remaining ones. The first one is you must have a powerful narrative.
Yeah, manifesto. Manifesto.
If you don't have a powerful narrative,
and a manifesto doesn't need to be well done in a PDF.
No.
Yes, and that's what you are missing.
You could be right.
When we're talking about a manifesto,
yes,
we're actually talking about Ruto standing and singing in a church.
Because that's not a manifesto.
That's a manifesto in Africa.
It is a manifesto.
But it's not a manifesto.
It's a manifesto.
You know, Jagora researcher. So if you talk about a manifesto, let's go academic with it. But if we come to the street, let's remain the street.
There are loose translations of everything.
And you want to have your cake and eat it.
No. nani.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So one is a successful presidential contender must at least have a powerful narrative.
Okay.
Look at the 3 previous elections, which is 2022, 2017, 2013. In fact, we can even go to 2007 as well as 2002. The 2003 election was about change. The 2002 election was about change, yeah? The Rainbow Coalition coming in and giving a fresh breath of air. It was a coalition thing. All the united opposition, mark that word, united opposition came together. And then they did away with who? With this fellow called Moi and his regime. When you come to 2007, it was about Raila coming in with the Pentagon and doing away with Kibaki. And the narrative then was very, very strong that Kibaki had performed dismally and had refused to bring a new constitution. In fact, the ODM party itself was formed because of clamor for a new constitution.
Yes.
When you come to 2013, it was digital versus analog, where Raila was being branded as analog and he had to go. And then we had Uhuru and Ruto being branded as the digital team, bringing about the digital transformation. Yes, Kenyans do not understand what digital transformation is, but just like we used to say in early 2000s, .com. Yes. So now we were like, now .com being a president was quite something, Then in 2017, we had the question of what? Of the Mzee going home, right? I think they really wanted Raila to go
Finally.
Finally. And for Raila, it was like the last bullet, yeah? And then when we come to 2022, it was perhaps for me one of the best campaigns where Ruto brought the best narrative for me. And the most powerful narrative which won the election was giving power to the hustlers. Remember, Ruto did a snatch from Raila.
He did.
Because initially, Raila was the owner of the poor people. In fact, at one particular moment, he was called the Lord of Poverty.
Actually, yes.
Because he was the one who would identify with the slums. He was the one who would identify with everybody else. But Raila did a fundamental mistake towards 2022. And I remember one time, and this I will reveal again for the first time here. I remember one time before 2022, I did tell Winnie Odinga that we need to craft something that will ensure that these people who were born in 1997 are well catered for, because they're going to be a majority of the voters in 2022. But then I didn't even know their name was Gen Z. I just told her in a text, and she asked me, do you want to work for my dad or do you want to work for my mom? And I said, I want to work for your mom. And that's how I ended up working for her mom peacefully without delving much into the other bit. So we lost the narrative at 2022 because Ruto did a snatch of our traditional strong base, which is traditional constituency, which is poor people. Okay? So Ruto came in with the hustler versus dynasty and successfully branded Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta into the bandwagon of the dynasties. So that is a proof that strong narratives, beautiful narratives have tilted elections or have won elections. Number two is building ethnic and regional balances or regional coalitions. Today, Jagero, it will be again politically dishonest for somebody to imagine that you can win elections in Kenya excluding the ethnical equation or the ethnic equation. We cannot exclude it. It is part of our politics. And it is part of the keys for me. Because these 3 tribes, that is the Kikuyu, Luo, and Kalenjin, whenever the 2 of them swing onto one side, they determine who becomes the president, or they produce the president. Who? Kikuyu, Luo, and Kalenjin. Whenever 2 of the 3 swing to one side, they then produce the presidential candidate and most probably the successful presidential candidate. Okay? And that's why even 2022 was that tight.
Yes.
Okay? Now, if you look at regional coalitions, you will hear of Gema, you will hear of now Tawe movement coming from Western Kenya.
Yes.
You will hear of Pwani C Kenya to the other side. You will hear of the Somalis on the other side with the UDM. Okay? There are a lot of regional parties that are coming up right now. Or that have been there.
Now.
Right now, and they've been there as well.
There is a Tawe.
Tawe movement is very heavy in Luya land.
Tawe movement.
Yeah, by Natembea. It's a very strong movement, and seemingly it's going to.
Which party are they riding on?
It's about to come because he's leaving. He's leaving.
Kijana Omalwa's,
Yes, he's leaving Eugene Omalwa's DAP Kenya, and so probably he's going to have a new outfit. Remember, Luya is a swing area. The whole of Luya as a region is a swing area. And Luya
Luya is not a tribe.
It's not a tribe. There are so many. There's Tiriki. There's so many. There are Bunyores. There are Bukusus who sit at the top. Or imagine to sit at the top. They're the ones who consider themselves most learned, etc. Yeah? And so regional coalition and tribe arithmetic is very, very important. So in that sense, is Boni coming from the right tribe? Your guess is as good as mine. Okay?
Is he coming from the right tribe?
Yes.
But that's the question I was
Because
asking.
you need to come from the right tribe.
That is what I was asking you yesterday. Because
Yes,
I was telling him
yes.
that I don't think Boniface is a Kikuyu.
Boniface is a Kikuyu. His name is Boniface Mwangi.
Yes, but you see there is a...
He's not Kikuyu enough. I get your point.
He's not a Kikuyu politician.
We will come to that. So I'm giving you the keys, okay?
Yes.
And it's interesting that you
But we
already
are
noted.
discussing each key as you go. You can't just...
Okay,
do the keys.
so let's say, does Boniface Mwangi have a powerful narrative? As at this moment?
No.
A powerful narrative?
Yes.
For me, no.
I don't think so.
No, okay, so he's failed on the
Do you
first
think
key.
so?
I don't think so as well. So he's failed on the first key. Now let's go to the second key, building ethnic and regional coalitions. Is he coming from the right tribe? Yes, but he's not Kikuyu enough.
I don't think you'd say that Boniface Mwangi is coming from a tribe, because Mwangi has always seen himself first
As a nationalist.
Kenyan.
Yes.
You know, Jagero,
He's very-
I am agreeing with you in what you're saying.
Okay.
But we're looking at the key.
All right.
Okay.
Okay? I'm agreeing with you that yes, he's seen himself as a Kenyan. He's branded himself as such.
But I am disagreeing with you when you say that is he coming from the right tribe? Yes, he's not.
And that's what I'm agreeing with you.
There's another thing.
I'm agreeing with you.
That's another thing. Let's say. Let's say. Most Kikuyus, most hardcore Kikuyu,
Exactly.
never actually see Boni as their own.
Yes.
Do you know why? Because of that ideal nationalism politics. And then again, Boni is a bit elite in their eyes.
Yes.
And in the eyes of a lot of people. So people struggle to place him where he is. But then again, let's, for the purposes of this discussion, let's categorize him as a Kikuyu.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, that's good.
But also I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
In addition to what you're saying about the elitism of Boniface Mwangi.
We are coming to discuss the elitism.
It's
It is
coming.
part of
Okay,
the keys.
sawa.
It's part of the keys.
All right, yeah.
So, building ethnic and regional coalitions was number 2, and successfully Boniface Mwangi fails in key number 2. Key number 3, mobilizing grassroots machinery. Does Boniface Mwangi have the capacity to mobilize grassroots machinery?
Do you mean money?
No.
Absolutely
I mean
no.
grassroots machinery.
Ground. The colloquial
in terms
ground.
of the ground. Listen to the ground. The ground.
But where is his ground?
Exactly. That's the question. So
His ground is in Nairobi. And
His ground is in Nairobi
it's
and
even
amongst-
shifty also here.
Yeah.
But also one of the things that has really destabilized Boni as a politician is that people, in fact, during Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, the two regimes of Uhuru Kenyatta, he was actually, there was a lot of mudslinging towards Boniface Mwangi. And most of the time they were saying that these are people that are being influenced by outside individuals, especially Americans, especially the UK, Europe, to destabilize Kenya. And Uhuru used to say that a lot. And I think and remember, Uhuru was heavily supported by the Kikuyu people. But then there was an outsider who was coming to disrupt, and that was Boniface Mwangi, their own. And I think also when you talk about their own leaving him and not seeing him as a proper Kikuyu, I think that was done by Uhuru Kenyatta in his first and second regime. Remember, even there is a time that they were not being allowed to get money from outside. The money was being frozen by central bank. Yes.
Okay. So Boniface Mwangi then fails successful again in key number 3, which is the probability of mobilizing grassroots forces. He doesn't have the capacity.
The capacity.
He doesn't have the capacity.
And when I asked about capacity...
Now, capacity is key number 4, which is the logistical might. Can he mobilize the logistical might? Because let's estimate. A presidential election will need you to have around how much? In 2017,
10 billion.
They estimated it at 2 billion. In 2022, I think it shot up to 5 or 6 billion. But of course, they overspent these amounts of money. Does Boniface Mwangi have the capacity to mobilize that kind of money? For
Let's say even 1 billion.
even 1 billion.
Well, Sembepi Muginyamen.
Very right.
Yeah. So we have to look back at
qualified.
what he was able to get.
Yes.
In 2017, correct? 2017, he was able to get just about 10 million.
Did he contest in 2017 for presidential elections? No.
No.
Constituent.
But we are looking. But he was in an election.
Okay, so he was contesting for MP of
An
Talehe.
electoral process.
Yes.
Okay.
For which he got 67,000 USD, which is about 10 million, less than 10 million.
Less than 10 million.
Okay. And so he did not even get 100 million.
Okay.
But do we need 1,000 million now to make a billion?
Yeah, we need 1,000 million to make a billion. That's true.
Really?
Yeah,
that.
1,000 million.
Look at that.
Yeah. So does he have the capacity to raise 1,000 million? Which means he needs 1,000 people to give him $1 million each.
$1 million each.
1,000 people.
Yeah.
To give him $1 million each.
Yes.
Raila can get that.
Raila has that in his house in Karen.
Already.
in cash. In cash. Hard cash. Anyway, so he fails on key number 4 in terms of commanding vast resources. He's not able to command that. Boniface Mwangi fails.
Where?
In key number 4, in terms of commanding vast resources, logistical might. Okay?
Mm.
Then key number 5, possess charisma, resilience, and a relatable story. Does Boniface Mwangi have a relatable story?
Yes.
Which
Yes,
He does. A very powerful story.
Which one?
He was an orphan that was raised up in a that school is called what? Where approved school. You know, it's called approved
School, yeah.
Why is it called approved school?
I don't know. They used to take children there.
Because you had to be taken away from your peers and qualified. You are no longer a child, but you're also no longer an adult. And our prison system are not catered for that.
Oh,
that
for child offenders.
Child offenders.
But it was not an offender. It was not an offender.
But you see, many people...
They take you there when you have no parent or anybody to take care of you.
Or there's no orphanage.
But then why are you talking about offense?
What are the circumstances that lead people
for offenders,
to approved
child
school?
offenders, right?
Yeah?
What are the circumstances that lead people to
Approved schools. That is
Is
child
it a
offenders.
crime, or sometimes people come to maybe a social or a children's department looks at you and you're like, nobody wants you, your relatives don't want you. Like, is there an approved school here? Go there. I think that's how you found.
I hope that you are enjoying that episode, people of the internet. You know, everybody says there is no job, and that is true. Also, that was me 10 years ago. The problem is that everybody is trying to get a job in their own town, in their own city, in their marketplace. They ask friends for jobs, mothers call uncles, uncles call fathers, but there are no jobs, right? Let me tell you what no one is telling you. Jobs migrated online. What I actually mean is there are many, many jobs around the world and there is no one to do them. I have worked for a long time online, I think more than 10 years. I work for Americans, I work for Europeans, I work for the Chinese, the Australian, Canadians, the Ugandans, name all of them. And last year, I had a eureka moment. I said to myself, you know what? I should compile what I have been doing for the last 15 years. So in 2024, I wrote a book called Gold Mine, 18 Side Hustles for Africans. And it sold a lot of copies. In fact, sometimes I was receiving 500 orders in a day. In 2025, something happened. AI came. I think in 2025, AI came. AI came in 2024, but in 2025, it is here with us. And people say AI is taking away their jobs. And for me, I'll say false. There are actually AI jobs. Now, mimi ninani, I created more jobs. We now have in my book 25 online and offline side hustles that you can do anywhere in the world, whether you are in the village, whether you are in your small town, whether you're in a marketplace, whether you are in your house, you can do them. In this powerful volume 2, I share 25 new actionable online hustles specifically researched and tailored for Africans. My new book provides clear step-by-step guidance, drawing from my extensive experience and research, including the mistakes I have made and lessons I have learned over 15 years in this online job market. You can become an executive assistant to busy folks in Europe, America, and Canada. You can also get paid for tasks like watching videos and taking online surveys. There are many of them and they're in my book. You can also build a business as a virtual assistant, start an e-commerce without a shilling. You can also become an affiliate marketer or an online English tutor. And you can also do tens of AI jobs, and they're all in these books. If you have a job, that is fine, but I know around you there are so many people that are always looking for jobs and at home watching Netflix. Buy this book for your brother, for your sister, for your mother, cousin, husband, who is back at home all day, all night watching Netflix. Okay? Buy it for your friend, that friend who is always asking you for cash, you can buy this book for them. All the information is in the description below. You can also inbox me, you can WhatsApp me, or you can go to my website, which is oduorjagero.co.ke. The book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. Or if you're anywhere around the world, the book is $10. So thank you very much. Back to programming.
Understood. Now I understand from Uchuka's viewpoint.
Yes.
I've never understood that.
So he has got a story. He's a hustler.
Okay, he's got a story.
Who has risen through the ranks.
Is he charismatic?
Yes.
Yes.
He's charismatic,
Yeah.
but not politically.
Not politically.
I don't think he's.
What is charisma?
I think charisma is
Makucha.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Charisma is the effortless capability of being liked by the people.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody just walks into a room and is just liked. He smiles, or the way he walks, or people just relate to you naturally.
Boni tries too much sometimes.
I think Boni lacks charisma. I tell you why. Boni is a poor public speaker. He's a very forceful speaker. He's
not grounded.
I think when he speaks, he's very antagonistic.
Yes.
He's always going for antagonism.
Yes. Now, when you go for antagonism first, then people delink you or depreciate your value from leadership to a warrior. Now, warrior basically takes you to the infantry. And so you exit the king's court.
The philosopher's court.
Yes, you exit the philosopher's court and you go to the infantry. And in the infantry, the only thing we expect of you is to fight. And so
gladiator.
The gladiator. And most gladiators were never very charismatic anyway. So that, for me, he fails. For you guys, he succeeds in terms of charisma?
For me, he fails and partly succeeds because he's charismatic under certain quarters. When you spread that charisma thin across the country, he loses it.
Yeah.
And also, Boni has the way he has always related to the masses is that you guys are silly and stupid.
Yeah.
You've not been able to elect properly.
Now
That is why you're always in problems.
Now, on that point number 5, which is key number 5, Boni fails.
Boni is
So halfway, Boni is already failing in what determines the factors that determine
the most important one.
Most important one actually is a personal story and charisma. You can lack everything else.
He has a personal story.
He has a personal story.
Charisma.
But charisma is lacking, and it goes as a pair. This key for me goes as a pair. So you cannot have one and lack the other. It must come as a unit. Okay, let's look at it further. Number 6, you must dominate communication channels. In fact,
the media don't like him.
The media don't like him, per se.
Why don't they like him?
He's very good for news value.
Yes, for bites.
And even since he decided he came out to be president, I am not sure I've seen any interview.
And I will tell you why. I will tell you why. I will tell you why.
Have you seen any interview where he's talking about him being president?
I will tell you why. There is a silent hatred amongst journalists in this country. Journalists rarely support each other. Those of us who have been in the field, people you've suffered with, who you're earning with brown envelopes, and you've gone into the trenches with Jagero. I don't know whether you've been in a field reporting news.
Yes.
Most of the time when you declare that you're moving somewhere, or when you declare that you're moving some inch, most journalists, especially the bigger guys, the editors and the managing editors, rarely support these journalists. And Boniface Mwangi suffers that fate, that they don't see him for the news value and also for the potential of his capacity to become a president. Instead, they look at him as the photojournalist who left the newsroom and went into activism. And this is a very dangerous path for Boniface Mwangi because the media sees him as a competitor. When he goes, they don't see him as one of their own. They see him as an outsider. Look at someone like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, ever since the MP for Nyali, he left KTN. Have you ever heard of him?
But he lost his card by the...
Have you ever heard of him covered properly, positively in the media?
Never.
That's interesting.
Never. And any other journalist, Esther Arunga, whoever, those Esther Arunga did not go into politics, Tuju, etc. They've never received positive coverage from the media.
Tuju,
this is a silent hatred.
Tuju has really been forcing himself into the media.
Yes, because he's smart. Very, very smart. And because he also has enough money that he can buy TV shows, he can buy radio spaces and do his interviews. Remember, people buy. I am a media buyer. We buy spaces for these people. And so when you buy spaces, you can even determine the questions you're going to ask.
Why are people not buying for political headache?
Wait first, idiot. My guy. So there's that silent hatred amongst journalists that then works against Boniface Mwangi because the media creates you and the media brings you down. The media has the capacity to say, Boniface Mwangi is one of our own. Let's take him in. But they're not doing that. So on key number 6, he again fails. Because then it does not have any media house. Heriwewe, you have political headache. You have DWJ. You can spruce up yourself and go and vie for MCA.
If it becomes bad.
If it becomes bad.
Unaweza pick up poro. But Boniface Mwangi also...
Yes, team courage.
But Boniface Mwangi, but I think podcasting is one of the most difficult things. Boniface Mwangi tried Ukweli TV.
Yeah, even with the resources, they couldn't pull it up.
Yeah, it's very interesting that charisma.
Very, very important.
Charisma, very important. But also something very that you mentioned earlier. I'm privy to people who have been close to Boni, and he's very erratic and quite a dictator, for lack of a better word. Very tyrannical. And those contribute, and it connects to your idea of the animosity he gets from journalists. Journalists are very critical people. While they usually send thorns to you, they extend grace when you are humane with them.
Yes,
because that is how they extract relatability and see you as somebody. Because a journalist writing something critical about you does not mean that they hate you. It's their objective job to do so.
No, the media has never been objective.
No, I'm using that word.
The media, there is a level of objectivity.
There's none. I'll tell you.
What do you mean? What do you mean there is no objectivity?
For the most, let us Ochuka land first. I don't want to be
the objective job I meant when you're studying journalism. One of the normal things that you're being told is you're supposed to be objective. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that's what is happening on the ground.
Yes, I agree with you now.
You understand? So that animosity usually comes up because he, like you said, is very confrontational. He said he's antagonistic.
Yeah.
He has not been able to ground himself and determine the kind of conversation, the kind of tone, the kind of language, and sometimes who needs to speak on his behalf. You see, he's always at the front of everything.
Exactly. So I want to tell you, Jagero, that if you look at the media, for most of the part, the media is largely lazy, and its model, the infrastructure of the media operates between the cathedral of morals and the commercial stock exchange or the commercial whatever, the Nairobi Services Exchange, Nairobi Securities Exchange.
It's more of a red light.
So the media operates in between, and how it works in this form is that when you give them adverts, then they will rarely cover you objectively, quote unquote. Okay, because objectively means then they will cover you without bias. But when you give them money, they will have a bias because you are a client that then sustains them. In fact, there's a big war in each and every media house between the editorial team and the marketing team.
The marketing team, yes.
The marketing team determines even what space in the newspaper is left for what story, or even what space is left for TV and radio for what stories, because their job is to bring revenue. So as long as the media is still on the commercial end of issues, still has the commercial control, objectivity will never be achieved. And in that sense, even politicians have to spend a lot of money on media ads to swing the media to their side. Now, Boniface Mwangi needs colossal amounts of money for him to win, or for him to even be able to have a significant story, leave alone commanding a strong stake in the media. That said, look at Raila. Raila had a very strong control of the media. Why? Because one, Raila has sat with the media and has fed the media stories, and Raila has been a product that the media has been selling. There's no day from 2017 or 2013 thereabout that you buy a standard newspaper without Raila's photo, mugshot, on the back of the newspaper or on the front of the newspaper.
Yeah.
He's a product. Is Boni a product? I doubt. Is Ruto a product? Yes. Oh, Raila also benefited from Royal Media Services. You remember when SK Macharia, the owner of Royal Media Services, saying, this gentleman was left in my hands by the father for me to take care of. And so all the media spaces, I started buying media spaces for him when I was still buying in KBC, not even in Royal Media Services.
So how does media buying for a presidential candidate work?
Okay, it works like this. Number one, there are media interviews. Okay, yes. Now these media interviews, remember, you can decide and control how the narrative goes.
Even the questioning.
Even the questioning, you can decide and control. Because I buy the time, and I say I'm sending Jagero to come and talk on my behalf. So ensure that you ask him these questions.
Don't ask these ones.
Yeah, you ever saw like someone like Jimmy Wanjigi have a whole interview to himself in his home in Muthaiga? It's like a dialogue. There is no invitation of objectivity in it. Okay, media buying also
he
works.
Says what he wants.
He says what he wants, and so it's
with very little interrogation.
Yes, the danger of a one-sided story. Okay. Now also, you remember the things such as media adverts where politicians say, "My name is Odhiambo Tieno and I'm vying for Kabondo Kasipul MP. This is going to change your life."
There you go. You're buying political headache.
Exactly. You know, I've just placed an advert. Okay. And the other bit is that in terms of media buying, you also buy interview space on radio.
Yes.
And they sell it. In fact, during political time, the political home stretch, media space is very expensive, especially
So
radio.
watermarked hours.
Yes, especially what do we call them? Peak. The peak times, like in the morning between 6 and 10, that is very peak because a lot of people are listening. Then drive on.
So something like Spice FM.
Yes.
During elections.
Yes.
Especially for a governor of Nairobi.
Yes.
He will not just go there for free.
No. It will be paid. Now, this is what the media does not tell people, but that's the reality. Us who are watching it will tell them.
Because I'm imagining that how do they have a brochure? Do they have a...
They have a red card.
The red card.
I can share with you.
Is it official?
Yes, there's a red card. When I was working for Anguma, we used to pay. I remember paying Ramogi 637,000.
In media, I don't understand this.
Yes.
Because probably I wasn't ever higher up there.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is there are people that will come to Spice FM because they have been invited.
Yes.
In that case, they don't pay.
Even those who have been invited somehow pay.
In some
way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's very
if
it's very newsworthy,
yes,
he might just
okay.
come.
So there are the 5 qualifications of a news story.
Yes.
It must be prominent. It must have the numerical value or in terms of effect of numbers.
Which numbers?
Yes.
It must have a human story effect. It must have, did I say prominence? It must have novelty. Okay, and it must have currency. So any of these 5 then will attract the media to call you or to invite you to discuss. But if you are colorless, then you'll have to buy the space so that the media then props you up.
Buying all these other things.
Yes, you'll have to buy all these other things. But even as such, even them, they still buy. Now, that is not only, media is not only radio, TV, etc. Media is also billboards. You must have seen during campaigns, huge billboards.
Yes,
Politicians putting billboards across the country.
And
one billboard.
Most of the spaces were not even available.
Yes, spaces were not even available. And in some cases, I remember I have a client, one of the billboard clients, whose billboards, one of the clients, placed his adverts in Mombasa. And one of the people there who is now a minister pulled down the advert of this fellow and placed his advert.
What do you mean by pulled down?
Like pulled down the canvas that was there.
If it is Magnet Ventures, it's Magnet Venture that can only go up there and pull something down.
No, so the county government, headed by whoever is now a minister somewhere, pulled down that billboard.
Because they had the knowledge and the capability of
pulling it down. And they put up a new one. And Magnet Ventures took them even to court.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because it's a breach, actually.
Because, for billboard advertisement, it is territory.
Tenured,
It is territory. For outdoor advertisement, it's actually territory marking. So when your billboard is here, it means that's almost your territory. You're almost dominating.
Because I remember Ali had a very strategic one.
Yes.
During his MCA campaign. There was one actually on that road. I don't know what that road is.
Oloitoktok Road at the roundabout.
Yes.
Yes. So billboard markings is very, very important. It marks for the territories. So there's billboard, then there is posters, which you see everywhere. Then there is social media spending. Now social media ads, like in 2026, you're going to make a lot of money with political headache because they will want to come here.
Keep subscribing.
Good. So then
I'll give you some of that money.
yes, they're the product. Huh? Yeah. So Prove credibility is the key number 7 because we are remaining with 3 keys.
Credibility.
Prove credibility. Is Boniface Mwangi credible?
I would say to most Kenyans he doesn't look credible. He looks like somebody else's stooge. He looks like somebody who was he's doing a bidding for somebody. He's out to spoil somebody else's votes.
Now, what do you think?
Boniface Mwangi is not himself. He has not succeeded in conferring himself in the Kenyan mindset and imagination, and as such, no.
So for me, I look at Boniface Mwangi as a self-made person. And I always say, Jagiro, and we've shared this before, that if you meet a self-made man, know that you are staring into the horrors of unskilled labor. Boniface Mwangi, we don't know which school of politics he's gone to. We don't know what is his philosophy in politics. We don't know what he truly wants as a politician. We know what he truly wants as an activist. But politics is a whole different ballgame. In fact, I respect him personally as an activist. I respect him personally as a kind person. But for politics, it's a whole different ballgame, and I don't see him anywhere. So in that key, again, Boniface Mwangi fails.
Which one has he passed?
None yet. We were only contesting key number 5.
Number 1.
We contested key number 5 and key number 1. Key number 1 was having a powerful narrative, which I said he doesn't have.
I think I said he does.
He has not just done it well.
He has done it well.
Yeah.
Okay. So he has key number 1.
Yes.
So we contested key number 5, which is
charisma. And something else that you said was tied together.
Yeah, charisma and relatable personal story. I contested it. You guys agreed. So he has 2 keys on the minimum. Okay. Key number 8. Read the national mood.
Yeah, he fails flat. I think he fails flat because I think for the Kikuyu nation, for example, they want Ruto out and they don't want a spoiler. I think, and Boniface coming and they're even wondering. I mean, are you with us or are you against us? Because you remember the United Opposition has not come out and said that this is the person that is going to lead us. And obviously it's not Boniface Mwangi. And if Boniface Mwangi is going to cut away Kikuyu votes, they might not be very happy with him.
Yes.
Because he can. There are people who are very disillusioned with politics and might say, okay, you can find those elitist Facebookers who will actually go and vote. And they will actually put 500,000 votes in Boni's pocket. Say that, Wamunyoro we ulitusumbua na Naruto, Kalonzo, you have been a watermelon for we don't know how long. Martha Karua ulitusumbua wajaluo wakatu hate in 2017. You know, these people are not good people. All these people are not good people. Let's just put it on this guy. Wacha nitupe hapa.
Hapa kwa Gachagua. Kwa Boni.
Kwa Boni, wacha nitupe.
And so Boni then.
And so then that means that a lot of people who are true Kikuyus, true people or true Kambas or true Luos that want Ruto out, will be very unhappy with him.
So then he's not able to read the national mood.
Yes.
And so he fails on that key as well.
But also, he has left Martha Karua.
I don't know if he's left Martha Karua. Politically, yeah.
Because Martha Karua is on the other side.
Okay. On the other side of the United Opposition.
Yes.
And maybe Boniface Mwangi will join them.
Boniface Mwangi is not joining them.
So he doesn't have the capacity to whip himself with the rest.
No, because also they would not need him.
Okay.
There's no value to them, actually.
Yeah, they don't need him.
I think the United Opposition needs him. Because I look at him, he has a value that he carries.
Boniface
has a value, yeah.
He has a value that he carries.
Boniface Mwangi.
Yes.
Boniface Mwangi does not like Gachagua. He does not like Gachagua. Boniface Mwangi does not like Kalonzo Musyoka. Boniface Mwangi does not like anybody in the opposition. In the one what do you call it?
United Opposition.
United Opposition. He does not like those people, and I think that what has actually pushed Boniface Mwangi into standing as a president, because he thinks that United Opposition does not offer anything that is new. He does not think so. He's never liked Gachagua. He's never liked Kalonzo Musyoka. In fact, he has always called him a watermelon. And they are the people that have always. All those people in United Opposition has tortured Mwangi.
Now,
one way or another, yes.
Yes.
Then that brings me to key number 9, which again he fails in spectacularly, and that's the last key.
You can't decide that. You decide for yourself.
No, for me, the key number 9 is negotiate acceptance by elites, judiciary, and international players. Why are these 3 very important? Remember, the elites, the person talking about Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Gachagua, name them. These are the elites. The elites run.
They are the people who make presidents.
They are the people who make presidents. They're the ones who run the intellect of the country.
The invisible gears of the country.
They're the men behind the presidency. And Boniface Mwangi looks like he's not agreeable. Agreeability is a very great sign of maturity. And in that sense, Boniface Mwangi is immature politically.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I would 100% agree.
All right.
I would 100% agree with
It's very mature. Now, the judiciary is very, very important. I know many people will be surprised. Why is the judiciary being bound by these elites and also the international players? The judiciary, at the end of the day, is a democracy. It is about, when we go to the Supreme Court where presidential elections are being disputed, it's a 7-judge bench. You only need 4 to give a consenting opinion the winning, I think it's the consenting opinion, the winning opinion. Then the 3 or whoever gives the dissenting opinion. So this is a matter of, it's not a matter of facts and figures and whatever.
Alone.
It is an intricate game of a lot of
Deliberation,
and lobbying behind the nini, yeah? And Jagero, Boniface Mwangi has no capacity whatsoever to protect the very elite interests of the judiciary. And I can dare say in this country that the judiciary is the single most powerful organization in the country that sits beyond the 5-year term of these other forms of these other arms of the government. So I could actually say that the judiciary is the true power democracy in the country. And so Boniface Mwangi does not look like can protect the interests of someone like David Musinga, who has been adversely mentioned by Captain Kungu Mungai in the case of that 450-acre land in Mangu. He doesn't look like he can protect the interests of the retired judge Kalpana Rawal. He doesn't look like he can take care of the interests of these ones who are here right now. Because now, from what we are learning, it's like the judiciary is a mess. And even the crocodiles coming from the lake where the hippos stay, like Nelson Harvey, are telling us, oh, the judiciary is so rotten. We need to march like we held a march and chucked out Bernard Chunga.
When they said that, I've always thought that even when Uhuru Kenyatta was saying that the judiciary is rotten,
yes,
I did not believe him.
In fact,
turns out
it is true
that the judiciary is
even far beyond him.
In fact, Uhuru Kenyatta had a budget for bribing judges. He had a budget. And it has been said, I'm not the one saying it, it has been said, we can check it up in the internet, that Uhuru Kenyatta had a budget set aside to bribe judges. These judges are too corrupt and they're too powerful and they decide who becomes the president. Because after 40 million people or after 18 million people vote, you take this decision before a 7-judge bench to make a decision that has been decided on by 17 million people. So this is a very key cohort. Remember when Ruto got to power, what was his promise? That I'm going to fund the judiciary, that I'm going to employ those judges. The first assignment that Ruto did, if you remember, Jagero, he came in, actually, just before he came into power, I said Ruto is having a very good narrative for the judges. Because the judges are also human beings at the end of the day. He told them, I am going to protect the judiciary. I'm not going to interfere with the judiciary. And when the case went before these judges, you saw how they behaved. Even the wording, leave alone the quality. I also believe that us in Azimio had a sham case.
Yes.
In reality, because I was one of the people who were fishing for evidence, for mistakes. We didn't find any at the secretariat. Yeah? But the wording of the judgment by these judges was so derogatory, was pointing to an annihilation of Raila Odinga and his cabal. When they were talking about his case being hot air, his case being what, they said so many demeaning things that were not judicial in terms of
stature.
Yes, in stature. So Boniface Mwangi does not occupy for me a position that Raila occupied, which was substantive, or the position that Ruto occupied. And remember, Ruto came in, the first thing he did, as he was leaving Kasarani to State House, he signed the employment for these 6 judges of the appeals court or high court, appeals court, right? And he's been funding them. And during Ruto's regime, the cases have gone down. You've not had a lot of war between the executive and the judiciary.
But also, I think the reason why the cases have really gone down is because Ruto has largely been dealt with by the Raia.
Because
Uhuru,
yes,
the Raia were largely silent. Because remember, when Ruto was president, a large percentage of this country was supporting. The Kalenjin were there, and the Kikuyus were all supporting this regime. And so he had no problem with the people themselves per se. The people that he had problems with was the judiciary.
Yes.
So every time he tried doing something, it was actually Kina Boniface Mwangi that were really frustrating Uhuru and Ruto, and not the people. This time around, the reason why people are not even, the people and youths are not even going to court is because the people are dealing with Ruto. Yeah. I mean, if the reason why the High Court or those corrupt motherfuckers did not.
Go on. Land.
Yeah.
You wanted to say something?
Yes.
The reason why those corrupt people at the judiciary were not able to do anything for Ruto was because the people were doing it. I think somebody took the bill to court.
I can tell you.
No. Somebody took the bill to court.
I can tell you.
Somebody took the bill to court. True or false?
I can tell you there's
I'm not sure.
Somebody took the bill to court, but the reason why Ruto did not sign that bill was not because of the court.
Jagger, I can tell you that there's a lot of judicial diplomacy between the executive and the judiciary.
And most of them invisible.
And most of them very invisible to our eyes and the media. And this is why there's been no case. And I can tell you, Ruto has put his house in order. You saw the other time there was an onslaught against Martha Koome. Because Martha Koome is having a 9-year term, if I'm not wrong. Because it's until she retires. And most probably she's going to superintend over the 2027 presidential elections. And there's another constitution that may be coming. Because I think there's a judge or two who should be retiring from the Supreme Court bench. And so Ruto is putting his house in order very well. Because it's a democracy at the end of the day. Facts and figures aside, it's a democracy. And these people will decide. And once they decide, there's no other court to go to. The other court, maybe you can go to the court of public opinion.
The ones that burned down parliament. You wanted to say something?
Yeah. I wanted to say something because when I was looking at how derogatory and demeaning those terms were during the last election at the Supreme Court, it showed that, one, the judiciary has never really trusted Raila. In so much sense that he's been acidic and combatant.
Yeah.
Now, when you're combatant, almost all the time, because Raila has been against the political machinery and statecraft, which the judiciary is a part of, so much very instrumental.
Exactly.
And if you look at also Boniface Mwangi, is almost the same. Now, Boniface and Raila do not occupy, they don't have the same occupancy.
Yeah.
Raila had a bit of stature that could say the judiciary could have looked back and said, we can hold back a little bit. And yet they did not. So I can imagine what they would do to Boniface Mwangi.
In fact, Chuka, interestingly, what you've just said, when I look back, Jagero, in 2017 vs 2022, in terms of the decision of the presidential elections, look, 2017, as much as there were technical issues in terms of the process of election, the numbers were not in doubt. The numbers were not in doubt because the margin was also very, very wide. Unlike 2022, where the margin was very small. I feel that the judiciary, especially the Supreme Court judges, being human beings, and I want to look at them as being human beings and not as being judicial officers first, okay? They gave Raila the presidency for free in 2017 by saying, let's go for a rerun. Then what did Raila do? Instead of going for a rerun, he wasted a national time. And he wasted the judiciary's goodwill by giving him whatever he had desired. And he refused to go for the rerun, which I tell you he could have done very well in. He refused. In 2022, these same judges, almost 4 of them who were in 2017 case, were still sitting on the bench.
All of them.
Almost 4 who were there were still sitting on the same bench.
Give you an opportunity to go and prove yourself.
Then you fucked up. Then now, we have another chance and you're bringing in another case. You're a perennial complainant who, even if we give an option to go and try once more, you let us down. We look like a laughingstock of the national, whatever, internationally. And I strongly believed, and I still do.
But if I remember correctly, he went back to court.
Yes, in 2022, he went to court.
No,
he didn't.
After Uru
won the second one, he didn't go back to court. Somebody went, Africog or something, went to court, but not Raila. Because he didn't participate.
But there was a court case.
There was a court case,
yes.
Yeah, but he didn't participate. And so that one was a very key determinant. It could have been, it could not have been, whatever. But he was a participant, okay? So Raila wasted the judiciary's time. In fact, it is like contempt of court.
Yes.
Just that it is not official. But it's contempt of court. Raila showed the judiciary the middle finger by not taking the chance of going for a second chance. And I strongly believe, that's why even Maraga thinks somehow that he can actually take this thing, or he can actually put himself as an option, because Raila is not serious. In 2022, that happened. In 2027, the judiciary is still going to play a big part in this thing. And that is why Gachagua and his team are in the opposition.
I have a feeling that in 2027 will be a completely different case, especially for Ruto. If it is seen that Ruto has not won fairly,
yes,
he's going to have to deal a lot. Not just the Supreme Court might give him that, and ultimately will be the president, but it will be very tumultuous for him.
In fact, I look at it this way, Jagero. In 2027, it is way before the election. Ruto must win it way before the election. And in this manner, I've said it before, let me just touch on it a little bit. Kalonzo must be the opposition of the candidate. Must be the candidate of the opposition, sorry. Must be the candidate of the opposition here, the united opposition. If Raila then contests, then Raila becomes a very big player. In fact, Ruto does not need the Supreme Court in 2027 per se. For me, it is a matter of, because Kenya has come to a level, in my view, where the election cannot be tampered with very easily. Because, Jagero, I don't know if you can allow me, if I can quickly check for you, because I can see the time is up. If I can quickly check for you.
Time is up.
Yes. We have about another 7 issues that then determine the credibility of an election.
You can just brush over.
I brush over them.
Yes.
One, Jagero, is the credibility of IBC. In 2007, it was very weak. In fact, very bad. We didn't have an IBC. We had an ECK, yeah? In 2013, it was mixed because there was this... transitioning into technology. It was a mixed thing, okay? In 2017, it was very damaged. That is why even it was cancelled, because there was no harmony in terms of the security coding on the Form 34As, Form 34Bs, etc. 2022, it was contested because there's a split amongst the commissioners, okay? That is on the question of credibility. If you come to peaceful elections, 2007, of course, all of us know it was very bad. 2013 was very good. It was very peaceful. There was no issue. In 2017, again, there was partial violence in Kibera and pockets of the country. In 2022, largely peaceful. All of us saw it. It was largely peaceful. The transition was, people were just diarrheaing in their houses because Raila had lost by a very small margin. So diarrheaing is not violence, yeah? It was very peaceful. It's just diarrhea. And I believe some people will also diarrhea in 2027 the same way. Transparency in tallying. In 2007, transparency was very opaque. Okay, it was very opaque. That is wrong English. It was very opaque, yeah? In 2013, the transparency was weak because the electronics kits failed. And at times we were figuring to go back to the manual register. Then in 2017, irregularities in results transmission. Then 2022, it was success. It was, in fact, real-time posting of Form 34S online. You remember one of the justices of the Supreme Court asked lawyer Soweto that, can you show us one Form 34A, one, that has an issue? Just give us one and we'll invalidate this election. Just one. Azimio was not able to prove just one. Okay? Now, the question number 4 is judicial resolution of disputes. In 2007, it was really bad. In fact, we didn't have the Supreme Court. And that is why in 2013, we had the Supreme Court. And there was success, 2017 success, 2022 success. So in terms of judicial resolution of disputes, we are doing well moving forward. Inclusivity and acceptance. Opposition rejected in 2007. In 2013, Raila accepted begrudgingly. Remember after that 1 minute reading by Justice Mutunga? And he said, we will give the reasons later. Raila said, we don't agree, but we accept. Okay? In 2017, opposition boycotted the pit poll. Okay? And then in 2022, Raila rejected outcome, but no violence followed. The data is flowing, no violence followed. So he was losing his ground of Tibim. Number 6, economic impact. In 2007, there was severe disruption, and the country suffered, the GDP fell from 7% to 2%. In 2013, stability reassured investors because it was largely peaceful. 2017, repeated election prolonged uncertainty and slowed growth, and that's why we had this talk of, why are we taking 3 years politicking? Can we have a 7-year term? Which I believe we'll talk about. Then in 2017, we had a very peaceful transition, but cost of living short, yeah? Because Uhuru was lying to us. It was just subsidizing stuff. But when he left power, we realized, hey, this guy, man, I think he was a thief, basically. Then number 7, and the last one, in terms of the election credibility and scorecard, is the question of international legitimacy. In 2007, international pressure forced power sharing. You remember?
Yes.
In 2013, everybody accepted that actually the elections were largely fair. 2013. In 2017, they initially endorsed. That's why I don't like these international people. They initially endorsed, but then when the Supreme Court said whatever, EU, they withdrew. They backed down on it. But in 2022, there's a broad recognition by Ruto as the president.
Thank you.
Very good. It's been wonderful.
The internet. It was been. So Boni is according to your 9 pointers, Boni scores 20%.
Yeah, it scores 20%.
But according to you, it scores 10.
According to me, it scores 0.
No, he can't score 0.
For me.
For me, I think he scores 2/10.
Pachuca?
2/9.
2/9? Pachuca?
1.5 over 9.
1.5 over 9.
1.5/9. Because there were things that were going together.
Yeah, so do we have the threshold? The threshold is 5. It doesn't score 5.
The threshold is 5?
Yes, it doesn't meet the threshold. Do you know where we got the term the threshold? So can I say it a little bit? In London?
No.
Oh, my buddy.
Thank you very much, people. The internet was always nice. We've just surpassed 10,000 subscribers. Please consider subscribing. We are going to Kisumu for our second Face the Nation. And we are going to be on the 26th at Baraza Media Lab. We are going to be having a huge event, and you are invited. On the description below, we're going to be giving you the form where you can register. Thank you very much, and until another episode, bye for now.